always glad to come off a victory. Wins in college football are hard to get. We're excited about the win, but we've also focused on the things that we've got to continue to get better at, and really in all three phases. So obviously now we're moving on. We've got a big opponent, obviously, in the University of Alabama. We understand, what kind of program Alabama is, what kind of the tradition that they have, and really the program that they've been for decades. Excited about the opportunity to go to Tuscaloosa on a Saturday night. We know we've got a lot of work ahead for us, but really the main thing right now is that we focus on ourselves and we continue to get better. The speed and the power of this game Saturday night is going to be good for us. We need to see this. We need to be in this fire and really see where we're at. We've got to have a great week of practice. We've got to clean up a lot of things, especially some of our execution, in all three phases. But, this team, we're focused on the day and being able to get better each and every day, and we understand this is a journey. It's not a sprint. So, we're excited about this opportunity, in Tuscaloosa. Questions?
Coach, you talk about just the execution part, looking more offensively, red zone, being in the red zone, putting points on the board, whether it's 6 or 3, just early in the season, obviously, but just how crucial is that to really improve on that once you get to Sunday play?
I think it's critical. If you look situationally against St. Francis, we were in the red zone 5 times, and we had 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal, so we were 5 for 5 in the red zone. Third downs, we were at offensively, we were 42%, I think 5 for 12. And really, 40% is winning. 45% plus, we feel like is championship level in third downs. The thing that was disappointing was really those first 4 drives. In those first 4 drives, we had a separate holding call in each one of those 3 of the 4 that put us first and 20, that put us second and 22. That 1 touchdown was called back to TG. And then you sit back and you look at the third drive. We had back-to-back drops, really on routine plays, and then we had a false start to make it 3rd and 15. So that was really the frustration from the first half. We settled down in the second half, and then we started getting a rhythm. I think we had a 16-play drive and a 10-play drive, and we were able to really settle in and execute a lot better. But that was really the frustration, was that first half, just from self-inflicting, penalties and really just missed opportunities or lack of execution on some of the drops.
Going forward, this week, what are you going to say to your guys in the locker room when you get walk in and try and get yourselves some sort of belief, mentally going into Tuscaloosa that you guys can pull something off?
I think the biggest thing is this. Look, we know what we're up against. This is a top 5 program. But it's not about Alabama. It's really not. It's about what did we not do right. That one game that we've been in, the one time where you can truly look in the mirror, and you look in the mirror every day after practice, and you play the game every day in practice. But then that's reality, and that's what really sinks through to kids is when they see themselves in the game. And we've got a lot of things that we've got to clean up. And we've got to focus on us, and we've got to put our head down and really continue to build our standard of toughness and discipline. And those penalties are not part of our standard, because that's discipline. And I think that the execution is more focused, So we're going to be in an electric environment. It's going to be an environment a lot of kids dream of playing in. To me, it's about us, and it's about execution, one play at a time, really in all 3 phases, and just going out there and turning it loose and playing football and playing to our standards.
So I'll start defensively for you guys Saturday. Obviously pitched a shutout. We talked about turnovers, 1 football games after a big turnover in the first half. Just how's that defensive build continue to build off of that week 1 success?
Again, we're proud and we're so excited. Of getting the first shutout in 15 years, but our defense will be the first ones to tell you we probably had 8 busts and probably 9 missed tackles. So we've got to continue to stay at the base fundamentals of great defense, and that's playing with great pad level, that's owning your gap, that's getting 11 hats to the football, that's being able to be a bunch of gang tacklers, and being able to also tackle in space. So it's early. I like, their first performance, and we realize that, and they know they'll be the first to tell you there's a lot to clean up on that side of the ball, but I like the potential. I like the mentality that we have on that side. I think it's continuing to grow and it's continuing to show itself. But overall, I thought that, it was a good night with a lot of things to still clean up.
What would the success look like this upcoming week from a coaching staff perspective? Just if you watch the game, come back next day, it's like, even if you guys lose, whatever, that was a successful game. Like we did as much as we could.
To me, the key to us is really who we are every day. And if you think about this, okay, when our kids wake up, what's the first thing they got to do? They got to come in and weigh in and get breakfast. And they want to be on time, and they want to start it right. And then they've got meetings, whether it's weight room or film or whatever it is, class, study hall, just doing every little thing right throughout the day. And then and whether it's practice, so then you go to this game, we want to play with a mentality. We want to play with an edge. Look, we know what we're up against. We know this is one of the top 5 teams in the country. Good. We're not going to go in there scared, I can promise you. And we're not going to go in there and blink. We know this is a really good opponent that has, a chance in my mind to rebound and still make the playoffs. They've still got their season in front of them. I know Kane Womack. We worked side by side. I've coached with Freddie Roach before. I know a lot of their coaches. Great guys, great coaches. They'll have their players ready, and it's our job to have our guys ready. It's bottom line. It's a football game Saturday night in Tuscaloosa in front of, 100 and some thousand. Good. We're looking forward to it.
And you guys can come in and play in that kind of environment. There's really no other experience or anything else that can prepare them for, or nothing else can be bigger than that.
Correct. Yeah, that's why I'm glad we're doing it week 2. I'm excited to go up there. Then we turn around, we got to go to UTEP. Then we've got to go to Northwestern. We've got to go to Coastal. We've got to go to Southern Miss. So this is going to be good for us.
Does last year's game at Texas help at all, just being in that SEC environment, just the stage being, huge? Like, does that give you guys any experience as far as, like, just knowing what the atmosphere is going to be like, I guess?
I think so. I think those games definitely, because we've got some guys back and they know – those kind of environments and those kind of crowds, and really the size and the speed. I felt like playing Texas last year helped us go to Troy. I felt like it helped us come back and be ready for a good James Madison team and then a Southern Miss team. So I think all in all, the biggest thing is this is going to help this team grow and develop.
Your first road game of the season, obviously, just talk about prep mentally, physically. What changed for you guys this week?
I mean, it's really our routine stays the same. I think that it throughout the week, the biggest thing is now this is our first time that we really go away from Malone Stadium, and we've had one game. But your competitive teams and your teams that make a run, somewhat throughout that season at a conference championship or make a run at postseason play, those teams with the right mentality and toughness, they like going on the road. They like being in, hostile territory. They enjoy that moment, and they realize that we're all we got, and we're all we ever really had, and all we've got is each other, and we have got to communicate. We got to stay calm, in chaos, steady in the storm, and we got to go out there and execute at a high level in that hostile environment. And to me, the true competitors, they enjoy that. So we're looking forward to it.
Do you think it's worse that you're playing them coming off a loss, or that you think that, just kind of a angry animal, I guess, and that could be this case?
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, Coach DeBoer and that coaching staff, they'll have something to prove this Saturday, and that's fine. That's in their locker room. That's in their field house, and I understand that. That's how we would be here. But, our focus is our kids and our preparation and our mentality and our toughness and our execution as we continue to grow this program.
You want to go back offensively. You talked last week on Monday just about the excitement from this running back group and that by committee mentality. Had a first chance to see them in game action and saw the production they had. Just seeing them week 1, how much more excitement does that bring to see what they did?
I think you continue the growth. You sit there and you see, Bam, Braylon McReynolds, you see Zach Palmer, you see Dorian Lewis make those runs, you see, Deshaun Ford, you see Tyrell Bird, T-Bird, Tyrell Reed, and you see all these guys' growth and development, and you really started seeing D Ford and T-Bird the last 7 practices. So I think the switch has started coming on with them to need that game speed in practice and to lay it all out on the line, and then they started being able to transfer that game speed in practice to the field now. So this will be a big challenge. The speed of this game will be at an all-time level. So you've got to go as hard as you can to prepare for that Saturday moment or that Saturday night.
You mentioned the running back and everything. Deshaun Ford, he featured a little bit last week, but maybe fans were thinking he might feature more because he was listed on the depth chart as near the top and everything. Do you think we'll see more of him this weekend?
I think as the weeks go and how he practices, we'll just continue his reps. The thing about Deshaun is his attitude and his mentality. He is totally focused on getting better. He cares. It means something to him. He's tough. So I think Deshaun Ford is just going to continue to climb as this season goes.
I got to ask you, Coach, obviously, Ahmad, first game in SEC Missouri, 10 carries, 100 yards. You've seen up close and personal all last season. Not surprised, was it?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, if he had 20, he probably would have had 200, So average 10 yards a carry is pretty good. So, but no, wish him a lot of success.
Depending on the score this week and everything, obviously last week when it got a little bit out of hand for you guys in a good way, Landon Graves came in, had a couple different guys on offense and defense, I guess, second string, third string guys going to get their appearance. Do you think that could be the case this weekend?
Well, I think Landon's had a great summer. He's had a great fall camp. The difference between Landon and Hunter was Hunter's played in games, and Hunter's had that experience, and he's got some, several roles in this offense. So we wanted that opportunity for Landon to get out there and do it in the game and get that experience. I thought Landon was calm. He was cool. He was ready for the moment, and he proved it. So now, as much as we can grow him and Hunter and Aiden, that protects the team. That gets them all better. It really creates depth throughout this 12-week season or regular season. So anytime we can get that opportunity to grow our guys and continue to build this team, that's what we're going to do.
I think it's pretty interesting to see a guy like Landon, who you said works so hard in a great summer. When those kind of guys have success, when they take advantage of opportunity, that's meaningful, isn't it?
It's so meaningful, and his confidence just grew. His mentality continues to grow. Even his teammates within him, and not that it wasn't already there because they've seen it. They've seen Landon do it, and for him to get those couple minutes in those drives and have success, his confidence is powerful, and we want to build that and the belief as much as we can.
Are you going to be showing the guys in the tape of like 07, 08, whenever it was when you owned Alabama last time you pulled up victory?
No, it's just such a long time ago, and it's a great moment in the history of this program, and it's a very proud moment, and a moment that should be celebrated, within these walls. And but to me, it just proves that it can be done, and it has been done. But we're just really focused on this team and getting our team the best we can be, because you want that your biggest growth a lot of time is week 1 to week 2. And you might be playing an opponent like Alabama, and that's fine. We got to make that growth. So it's what we're doing daily. And then we got to make that growth the next week and the next, and just continue to climb and not get, the harder it gets, the harder we got to climb.
Coach, can you expand a little bit on the coaching dynamic for this game? You already mentioned you're familiar with their DC, Coach DeBoer, also his second year, and also just what the matchup in Alabama means to you, considering that you coached the state at varying levels for most of your career.
But I've coached, obviously at South Alabama and UAB. We played Troy last year at Troy. We were able to play Auburn last year at Auburn. Really never coached in a game, at Bryant and Denny, and spending 27 years in the state of Alabama, what Alabama football is all about. It's passionate. There's tradition. There's a lot of pride and a lot of history there, obviously. But being able to go back in that state and actually coach in a game there, I think it's a moment, that when it's over and everything's done, you'll be able to reflect back and say, it's a big deal, to coach, at Bryant Denny Stadium against University of Alabama. but it's a moment that we want to be ready for, and we want to be prepared for, and we want to go up there and represent ULM the way this university and this town deserves to be represented.